Badass women and those in training. Hey there, join me, your host, Vickie Nevins, a lifelong badass, as we explore conversations with unique, interesting, and extraordinarily fierce women who found squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses as a way to survive, overcome, and thrive through all of life's challenges. Badass women and those in training. May we know them, may we view them, may we raise them. Are you a badass or are you in training? Tune in and let's talk. Hey there, Badass Brigade. Ready to be blown away by an awe-inspiring story of grit, ambition, and relentless dedication? Buckle up because our next guest is a dynamo of accomplishments and an unstoppable force of empowerment. Straight out of the land down under, she's brought the thunder for 2 glorious decades in her new home. While her heart is in her homeland, she's not just an Aussie transplant. She's the embodiment of reinvention and resilience. She's got not one, not two, four degrees. And as if that wasn't enough to accomplish in one lifetime, she's the president and senior broker of a powerful trade network, a savvy entrepreneur, and the queen of community leadership. Is there anything she can't do? Spoiler alert. Nope. But wait, there's more. She's not just a powerhouse professionally, also personally. She's on a mission to make lives better on both the personal and professional fronts. How, you asked? Vickie says, let's talk and find out. Get ready for an interview that's going to redefine badass. Widowed at the age of 21. This powerhouse, like all of us, has experienced hardships throughout her lifetime, but she doesn't let that hold her back. So grab your headphones, your cup of ambition, and prepare to be inspired. This is the Badass Women and Those in Training podcast. I'm your host, Vickie Nevins, and today we're squeezing the lemons and sporting the rose-colored glasses with ROBYN Nelson. Hey, ROBYN, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Vickie. Sorry, I'm off and away there at that intro, but yes, thank you so much for the opportunity you're giving me today.
Rather than me try to share your title, because I know you wear many hats and you have a passion for all of what you do, if you wouldn't mind telling our guests, what it is that you do on the daily and, as a priority for your legacy as well.
Sure, absolutely. Oh boy, this may take a minute. So,
Got it.
I am currently president and senior broker for Trade Bank of Wichita and Trade Bank of Nashville, Tennessee. That's my 9 to 5. I am an independent associate for Legal Shield, which is my passion. And it is, as you said, to leave my legacy. That's in multiple layers, my legacy. And then just for giggles, I'm secretary of the Winfield Sunrises Kiwanis Club. I'm secretary of the Winfield Saddle Club. And I am a committee chair for the Winfield Area Habitat for Humanity, just in case I didn't have enough to do. Each one of those things, Vickie, is a way for me to help you.
You do help a lot of people. You are a person of service. So you have how many horses?
Between my husband and I, we have 3 horses they're our big kids, 3 dogs, which are our not so big kids. And then I actually have 2-legged human children as well that are adults.
And how old are they?
My daughter is, oh my goodness, my daughter is about to turn 35 and my son is about to turn 27. These kids of ours just keep getting older, right?
Yeah, my daughter and my son is about the same as your daughter and son. So to be where you are today, is this where you thought you would be as a young child?
No, that's far from it as you can get. So born and raised in Australia, for those that don't know me. And Australia is my capital H home and always will be, even though Kansas is my small H. Kansas has been home now for 20 years. So goodness me, as a small child, I really don't remember back then exactly what I wanted to be. lots of things like most kids. But I had the huge opportunity as a teenager to be an exchange student to Clarence Loudon in Iowa. And at that point, I decided I was going to be an industrial chemist. Um, Even won a
Wow.
scholarship. Yeah, right. Won a scholarship to University of Iowa. Of course, as an exchange student, I couldn't follow through with that because I had to, go back home. But it was still nice to have won the scholarship. Things did not happen back home like, a 16-year-old that has life all mapped out. Anyway, so that did not happen. But I have had the opportunity as an adult to go to university. I now have 4 fancy pieces of paper, as I say, including a couple that are IT computer related. So, and some law and all sorts of stuff, none of which I officially use every day, but every single one of them I get some use from every single.
What is it about helping people that's your switch?
Mm. Well, you said you introduced me there as being a person that loves, offers service to others. I come about that honestly. My mother was very definitely service oriented. She was a high school teacher, high school librarian, first woman to my recollection, first woman in my home state to hold political office, as in
Wow.
city level, not state level. I can still remember walking around town as a 10-year-old putting flyers in people's letterboxes, but definitely was oriented towards serving others and helping others in other, not just the politics side of it. So I grew up with that. I have been so very blessed, not to say that life has always been easy, but I have been blessed with people always being there to help me pick myself up. I was widowed at 21. I've had all sorts of life experiences. So like I said, life hasn't always been just rose-colored glasses. It's my way of giving back my thanks. Plus, I do believe that if you put out good, then good comes back. But I really like being able to help women who perhaps have found themselves in a situation that is not what they're wanting it to be. Like I said, I've been so very, very blessed to have people that have helped me pick myself up. I hope I can help others pick themselves up.
And you certainly do. Coming from another country to here, how old were you?
39. So I'm about to hit 60 this year.
How does it feel to you to have your home be so far away?
There are times it's a little tough, and that's normally when there is something going on with family, especially that I would like to be present, like physically present. That's the toughest time. My mom passed away while I've lived over here. I was not there. And that's one of the decisions, or one of the consequences of the decision to move. But that's generally the tough times. I also am well aware that even though I look back on such an amazing life before moving here, I can't jump back there and it be the same life. Everybody has moved on, things have changed. So memories are wonderful, but they're not always 100% accurate. And I now have a lot of not blood family, but family and friends
Chosen
here in
family.
Kansas, and everywhere in this country through the 20 years I've lived here. It would be really hard to walk away from those. Although with the internet these days, I don't think we walk away from anyone unless we choose to.
That's right. Yeah, you have a lot of chosen family, don't you?
Yes, I sure do.
That's right. And when you mentioned Legal Shield, that's part of the direct sales multi-level style of a business
Mhm.
model. And it's one of my favorite business models. I know it gets a bad rap often because of how some people conduct themselves, but that's why people like yourself, and I like to think myself, we do our business a little bit different than stereotypical multi-level marketing. person.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how did you find Legal Shield and what made you decide that was your legacy to build?
Oh my goodness. So I'm involved in a networking organization. Anyway, our area director, Robert Murphy, who is an absolute gem of a man. He and his wife are both absolute gems. He at some point we're having a conversation and I'm like, is there anything I can do to help you today or this week? And he's like, well, I'd love you to learn about what I'm doing outside of, and I'm like, absolutely. So sat in on a 30-minute Zoom presentation and I'm like, oh my goodness, how many times in my lifetime would I have loved to have been able to, well, these days you touch an app, the button on the app, but pick up the phone and talk to a lawyer and not be worried about what that phone call is going to cost. Trust me, I've used plenty of lawyers for business and personal where I've known what that phone call has been costing me and been very purposeful about exactly how long I keep them on the phone. So there's that is just, Vickie, to be honest, it's truly priceless to me because it gives me that peace of mind. I actually call it my legal insurance because I have an insurance agent for our vehicle insurance. If I've got a question, I can pick up the phone or text her and I get an answer. If something is going on, house, health, vehicles, whatever, I can contact somebody, some of them that may take a little while of pressing through the buttons. But I've got insurance in place to help take care of things like that. Now I have my legal insurance. So if I've got a question, I can touch the app and get actual legal advice, not what a friend might say. And I do have a minor in law, so I'm not ignorant about the law. But if you don't know it correctly, boy, howdy, it can get you into trouble. So I can get a real life lawyer on the phone talking to me for an unlimited length of time. In fact, I've done this several times already. And it's amazing how it takes that stress level away because now I know. I actually know. Now, is it always going to be the answer I want? No, life doesn't work like that. But you get to actually know what is legal in that situation where you were at.
And helping others be able to be in that situation.
Absolutely. I mean, that's priceless as well. And then, of course, there's a business opportunity for those that are, maybe looking to expand their income or get it from another stream. Excuse me. But it is another way that I can use my time and my connections and my knowledge to help people in a different way.
It's a nice opportunity to be able to offer somebody who is looking that doesn't have a lot to invest or
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to invest a lot, doesn't want to have inventory, but wants to pour
Yes.
their passion into other people
Yeah. Yeah.
because
So
they can make a huge difference by helping other people, either with the product or the opportunity itself.
yes, very true. Absolutely.
Can you share a defining moment in your life when you realized what your own strengths were and that how resilient you are with life?
Oh, I've got to be honest. The one that comes instantly to mind is 21 years old, come in from hanging clothes on the clothesline. And my husband, who'd left 5 minutes ago, was dead in a motorcycle accident. I didn't know immediately, but I certainly knew within the hour or so when the police knocked on the door. It is amazing. Not that I would wish that on my absolute worst enemy, but it is amazing how resilient you can be. Yeah.
The strength you find when there is no choice.
Yes. And that's exactly right, Vickie. I had no choice. Now, I didn't have children. So some would say, I did have a choice. My choice was to suck it up and deal with it. I did not deal with it really well, obviously, at times. And other times, I just kept breathing in and breathing out and putting one step, one foot in front of the other.
Right.
100% blessed that I had both my parents. Mum was right by my side. So it was a defining moment for sure.
And, yeah, you did have a choice, but that's where you discover your strength is when you don't have a choice, because in your
Yeah.
mind, you had no other choice but to keep moving.
Yeah. Yep. Just had to keep going. So,
And, you
there's
were
been
just a
some
baby at
other
that time anyway.
what was that, sorry?
You were still a very young person at that time anyway.
Yes, I was only 21. It made me instantly grow up. Instantly.
Can you share a moment when you felt most proud of yourself and your achievements?
So my fourth fancy piece of paper that I've got hanging on the wall is a postgraduate e-discovery project management degree. And, I'm doing this as an adult. I have a full-time job. I had a couple of kids, although my daughter was grown. Sometimes life happens and you have to squeeze in. And my very last class, I'd stepped away for a couple of months because of the job I held at that time. I could not do study on top of everything else for about 3 months. So I stepped back in and had this tiny, tiny window, and it was all hands-on practical work. I completed it in a lot of late nights, lots of late nights, with about 24 hours, I think, to spare. And not only graduated, but actually ended up valedictorian. And it was so amazing to have a couple of the professors who had been with us throughout the entire degree say to me, this was all virtual, but he got on a Zoom call or what have you with me. And he's like, I'd written you off that you weren't going to graduate. And he's like, it's my pleasure to let you know, not only are you graduating, but you're valedictorian. And he's like, I figured you couldn't get it done. And I remember looking at him and going, Michael, you don't know me very well. I'm very stubborn and I was determined I was going to get it done. So I'm very proud of that I managed to pull that off.
Absolutely. You said you had 4 degrees. What are they in?
First one's in information technology. The second one, I was actually the only student offered from that degree for an e-business honors degree. So yes, I have a published thesis. And then I've got an MBA from Southwestern College here in Winfield, although I did my MBA online, and then my e-discovery. So, which kind of pulled my IT side and my legal side both together really well.
Have you ever succumbed to self-doubt or imposter syndrome?
Oh, all the time. All the time. In
No.
fact,
Say it isn't so. You're so confident.
Yep. Nope. In all honesty, probably better than 4 days a week. I will have some flicker at least of some self-doubt and kind of give myself a kick up the backside and say that I know I can do better than that and just keep on going.
Boy, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
We can only do the best we can do, right? And on some days, our best is better than others, but we're still doing the best we can do at that.
And even though we're good at what we do, and we know we are, it's still that it just ebbs and flows in there every now and then. And it's like, stop.
One of my favorite pieces of advice to women, as women, when we have a friend struggling with whatever, we are the kindest, most considerate, most uplifting, supportive person in the world, right? Until that woman happens to be us. And then we can be the harshest person, the most critical. So I have found myself probably in the last 3 years, 3 years, telling so many women, talk to yourself as if you're talking to your best friend who's struggling with something. Because then we're talking to ourselves much more kindly We would
Sure.
never talk to our best friend who's struggling with something like we talk to ourselves.
Can you think of a time recently that you've had to advocate for yourself, stand up for your worth? And did it have an impact on you or your career?
Ooh. Think of an example of that. I have learned my worth a lot recently, but that's more been through personal, you know, personal training and professional, all of that sort of stuff. I have learned my worth much better than I knew it before. But I don't know that it's had any negative. Well, maybe. I guess perhaps the negative would be that it means that I am also promoting my worth. So maybe getting a
Bingo,
little
that's
more
another.
stubborn and saying, I know I'm worth this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. What has been some of your biggest challenges that you faced on this entrepreneurial journey?
Only having 24 hours in the day like everybody else. Nobody's ever given me the secret to expanding my day. Um,
And cloning's not an option.
True. Unfortunately, they need to get working on that. That truly would be my biggest challenge. That, and I know I'm not good at saying no. So there are times I'm perhaps a little overloaded compared to what I should be. But just like that last class in my e-discovery, I get it done. So that's probably my biggest challenge. That and the self-doubt and making myself work through that, get rid of that really quickly.
Yeah, saying no, that takes practice.
It does.
And learning
Getting
how to accept a compliment.
Yeah, that can be very difficult, and I don't know why that is, but it is, or at least in my experience, and not only myself, but again, a lot more women than men, I think, have a harder time accepting it.
They have a hard time speaking positively about themselves and their accomplishments,
Yes,
tooting
yes.
their own without it sounding. They feel like it sounds egotistical rather than factual.
Yeah, and I've actually thought about that, and that really almost stems back to, as a kid, I was told not to do that. You didn't brag on yourself.
Right.
And to be honest, I expect that my brother was probably told the same thing. I don't recall hearing him being told that, but he was a little older. But I really think it kind of stems back to that yeah, we're not supposed to go around, patting ourselves on the back. And I think in fact we should. Because we are badass women or badass women in training, and we should give ourselves a pat on the back. Because we're
So
awesome.
are you a badass woman or are you in training?
Yes.
Perfect answer. The answer is yes.
There's always room for improvement and for growth. So
Yes.
always in training.
So do you have any little nuggets that you would like to share with everybody about if they're wanting to step out as a business owner and they're hesitating on the risk or they're hesitating with the mindset or their comfort zone? What?
Take the risk, because the only things we're going to regret later in life is the stuff we didn't try. Now, that's not to say that take risks that are not likely to take you where you want to be. I don't mean to be frivolous, but take that risk. If you can possibly make it, if it is your passion, find a way to make it happen. Lean on people that can help you. Be kind to yourself, obviously, like I said before, and always be a student. Always be learning. I don't think you can go wrong if you put all of those things together.
And I think if you give yourself permission to say yes, that would make a difference.
Yes. And very few things in life are permanent. So if you go with what you're passionate about and, you try it and it's not working, give yourself permission also to step back and either regroup or just go, this was not what I thought it was going to be. Let me look for some other opportunities.
What gets you out of bed every morning?
Helping people. There's really nothing that I do that isn't helping people in one way or another. My work with Trade Bank is all about helping small business owners. My work with Legal Shield is all about helping people in various degrees. My service work is all for helping people. My BNI work is for helping people. So helping people.
And so when people are thinking about either expanding their professional network or expanding their business ideas, if they surround themselves with people who lift them and make them laugh and hold them accountable and responsible, and that offer them the honesty and integrity, I think it'd be a whole lot better world. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And definitely, I think surround yourself with people that are honest with you, and going to uplift you. Now, sometimes if they're honest with you, it's not going to be what you want to hear, and it's not necessarily going to be uplifting in the short term. But that honesty is totally invaluable. Let's face it, I would rather have a handful of friends that I know will be 100% honest with me and look at me and go, "Robyn, this is just a mistake." Or share with me your reason why you think this is a good thing. Somebody who's going to make me think and tell me what they truly think about it. And I can still make up my own mind, but at least they've been honest enough to perhaps let me see a different point of view that I hadn't maybe seen.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they don't have a sense of humor, why even bother?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You got
I'm
to
a
have
straight
fun.
one. You haven't got a sense of humor, then probably not good fit around me. So, when the first 10 years I lived here, I worked with the Walnut Valley Festival in Winfield. I was year-round staff, and on grounds for the festival, I was in charge of all the employees, about 560. So I was on grounds for 18, 19 hours a day for 12 days straight. And mine was one of the major gates as far as getting into the festival. And I couldn't count how many people that worked with me over those 10 years and 12 days each year on grounds that said, you always try and make it fun. And I'm like, well, we worked too hard because it was definitely hard work. We work too hard. If we're not at least having a little bit of fun, then what's the point?
Exactly.
And a little bit of fun can make that really hard work seem a whole lot less hard work.
If we're not having fun, count me out. Perspective. Isn't it funny how we see different things, the same thing through the different parts of our glasses?
Yes. Yes.
Some things are lemons and some things are not.
True. And what's a lemon for me may not be a lemon for somebody else.
That's right.
And vice
Perspective
versa.
is such a funny thing. I'm so thankful that you spent it with me today. My goodness, you are definitely immersed in your community.
Yeah, try to be. The good way to
And
give
so,
back. The people here have been very welcoming to me and my family, when we moved here. So what better way to say thank you?
so with that being said, is there anything else you'd like to add to our conversation?
No, I just really like to thank you again for the opportunity, Vickie.
Oh, absolutely. I thank you for sharing time. Bye now. Thanks for joining me for a little fun on Badass Women and Those in Training podcast. Squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses on all kinds of topics for you, my fabulous, fearless friends. That's it for today. So until our next conversation, this is Vickie Nevins, your host of Badass Women and Those in Training, making a difference one episode at a time. It's real conversations with extraordinarily fierce women. May we know them, may we be them, and may we raise them. Bye now.